What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Season 2.
Round 16?
Gotta love it. Denver was absolutely crazy, but last week, you know what we did? We hooked up the fans, boys. SKDA Graphics. You know who it's going to?
Who?
At Moy296. MOEY296. We're going to hit you up on Instagram. We got you dialed with a brand new, fresh set of SKDA graphics. I don't know why I can't spit that out. SKDA. There we go. Maybe mid-show we might hook you up again, but you got to listen to the whole thing. Let's get right into it, boys. The pass heard around the world. Deegan versus Davies. What's the hot take?
Dude, I feel like Cole Davies should have known better. It happened to him, same corner, earlier that day. You're leaving the door wide open on your championship competitor who just tracked you down. The track's hard to pass on. It's tight. It's fucking blue grooved.
Yeah.
And I know you can hear that Star Racing Yamaha coming up on the inside, dog. It's not like it's a surprise. It's not a Stark Vark. It's a Star Racing Yamaha that's trying to pass you and just track you down.
Dude, Deegan is one level off of Barsha when it comes to rev limiter, right?
You know what I'm saying? There's no way you didn't know he was there. Like, get that foot and put it on the peg and lock your bike up, survive the corner, get second, push the championship to Salt Lake. That's all you need to do.
Well, everybody knows I'm a Deegan Glazer. So you know what we got to do? Let's bring in our SMX insider, the voice of reason, course heading, Michael Antonovich. What is your middle ground take on the situation?
I mean, that was a 250 path if I ever saw one. It just so happened to be a pretty critical one at a pretty critical time with a lot of money and a lot of pride and a lot of everything on the line. But isn't that what we all expected? Isn't that what we all wanted? I mean, damn, don't you think that you knew when Haiden won a Supercross championship, when it came, it wasn't just going to be like, yo, dog, there's your points. There's the championship. There it is. Let's go party. And you knew there was going to be a little something to it. And it just so happened to be on Cole, who is coming up on his own. And I think, although there had been people saying in the last few weeks, like, when's this rivalry coming? When's this rivalry coming? I think it's here now. You know, I think not in a bad way, not whatever, but like Haiden has made it very clear, like once you step to the level, he's going to try to do what he's done time and time again, what works, and Cole stepped to the level, and Cole just happened to be in the crosshairs this time for Cole. And as Ty has said, left the door open, happened in the same thing in the first practice, which I think is so telling. But as I rewatched the replay earlier, as he comes off and it's that hard pack, I mean, it does kind of look like the bike kicks a little bit to the right. He knows Hayden's there, but he probably does get shot off a little bit further than he thinks. That's a pretty tricky corner that's right there. For the 250s, too, even though it was a star bike, I know that ace in that triple was something that everybody was like, yeah, I got to get my shit over it every day.
Yeah, totally.
All day
Yep.
On Saturday. And so just a perfect mix of all the things that you could think of. But
Michael,
dude.
Bro, I was thinking about this on my way down here. If you put Joe Shimoda in that position, that guy's going to lock it up and cut down. If you put Garrett Marchbanks in that position outside of Haiden, they're going to lock it up and cut it down.
Yeah.
Like, if you put anybody with 2 or 3, or like 3 or 4 years with the experience on the outside of Haiden Deegan, you know what that rider is going to do. You are
100%.
That. I mean, if you put a measuring stick, Cole Davies was probably 20 feet away from the inside tough block on a 90-degree corner.
And just make them both do the double. Just make them both double the triple if you know that you're in that situation from now on. And I completely agree with you, Ty.
Lock the shit up and cut back down.
And control the race. And control, like you have the line. You are the leader. You are in control. But as we've said so many times this year, as we've been amazed by what this kid's doing. He's a 17-year-old rookie learning everything for the first time. Running a main event to the 15-minute mark. But hey, like, because I completely agree with you. And the first person that I had a conversation with this of like, wow, can you believe that happened? And he's not going to make that same mistake twice was Doc Bodner. And I don't think many people have seen more races than John Bodner have from his side of the track and knows what these guys do. And John's like, that kid will never make that mistake twice. He learned, especially, late in the race, don't leave the door open, how to control everything, to feel the pressure, all of that. One other thing that, kind of got revealed to me as I watched the replay, they just missed the white flag by seconds. They hit the finish line double with 2 seconds to go, I think it was. What else happens in those 2 laps if it goes a little bit longer or if the white flag flies in?
Actually, that's a great point. What
really does
Anton.
go down?
That's a great point, Anton. I want to cut you off right there just for a second, because what do we think about, do you think Davies wasn't expecting that a little bit more because he didn't get the white flag? Like, say he did get the white flag in that situation, do you think Davies would have been more defensive if he would have got the white flag instead of not quite running out that clock and he didn't see the white flag, so he was kind of more thinking, go, 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 go?
No, but you know what it looked like to me? It looked like to me Cole was bummed and kind of defeated that Haiden caught him.
He definitely looked like he clammed up.
He looked, as soon as Haiden got to his rear wheel,
he looked
Cole
tight.
was like, that was the best laps I tried to put down to stretch my lead out.
And I couldn't
Go any faster.
Yeah.
And he looked a little defeated. What I'm really surprised at, because during the week, you got to think like it's mixed up all the time. That's why I'm like so surprised they left the door wide open and he didn't know what to do in that situation. You're telling me when he's practicing at the farm, Nate Thrasher, Haiden Deegan, Michael Mosman, like all those star guys aren't going to take that pass during the week?
Dude.
Like, he has experience. So I'm just trying to dig deep in here and wondering where this like brain fart came
I
at
think
that
that's
moment.
what it was. I think he was so tired from pushing so
I don't
hard
think he was
up
tired.
at altitude.
Dude, that kid, when he went on the podium, was off the track, he didn't look tired.
Okay, let's say he wasn't tired.
Honestly, he didn't. I'll say that because I was standing right there when he came off the track and he throws his goggles down. I'm like one of 4 people that's standing there. And that wasn't like gasping for air or anything. Like, homie looked fine as far as all of that goes. And I'll tell you that was something that I had, on my mind for his first time racing in Denver and all of that.
Yeah.
But it goes back to how much experience do you have and what lessons do you learn as a rookie? And like, damn, we've really figured out that this kid is a sponge. How much knowledge and how much experience does he get from this one hard thing? Because a couple years ago, I want to say it was during a title fight year that Coop was in, he knew how to manage the race in the last few seconds to go slower 2 sections before the finish line. So the clock ran out. Like good 450 dudes know how to, I'm going to go faster here, going to slow down here, going to draw this out, either to make the race easier for yourself or to make the guy behind you suffer.
Yeah.
And only the leaders can do that. Only the leaders have that privilege. And when you get to that position, you got to know how to optimize that thing. Cole could probably really learn some lessons from Cooper. Cooper's at the star thing. If he really wanted to get some intel and experience on how to do it, it's right there.
They were saying like, Cole was only a couple lockers down from Cooper Webb at the farm already. So like he's learning from Coop. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, but here's my take on the whole situation.
But you don't know how you're going to get to that stuff until it happens to you.
Thank you. This is my whole take on the whole situation, bro. Welcome to it, youngster. You're a rook. I love Cole Davies to death, but there's shit I know about Supercross that he's not going to learn until he does it. And this was that particular situation. And dude, I'm stoked for Cole Davies. Cole Davies is in a spot where now, guess what? Bobby's for sure splitting these fools, and they're going to go West Coast, East Coast, and they're both going to win their championships. And now Cole Davies has learned a valuable lesson that you can't leave the door open for anyone, even your homie that you're with at the track, for $500,000 for the championship. Ty, here's a question for you. For 500 G's, would you put me over the berm in Denver?
Bro, you should already know the answer to this, and that's yes.
It's a
without
yes.
a hesitation.
Okay, no question. So guess what, Cole? Lesson learned. And like you said, he's never going to do that again. And he's just a rookie, dude. He's got to learn these lessons where it doesn't matter who's on the track. Once you get on the track for that much money and there's races on the line, boom, you have to get it done. You can't leave the door open. Next lesson, there's all kinds of stuff going on, dude. Cole Davies is the new kid on the block. He's getting a lot of noise. He's getting a lot of fans. He's getting a lot of people that love him. And at the same time, Deegan is also getting a lot of people that are starting to not like him because his attitude, right? Deegan's one of those kids where it's like, you love him or you hate him right now. So Deegan is feeling that pressure because Cole Davies has now won a couple in a row. And he said, nah, son, I'm the big dog. I'm the big dog in the yard. I'm going to put you in your place. Like you said, Ty, he hunted him down and did his job. If that was any other color of bike in that corner, Deegan did exactly what he's supposed to do.
Yes.
Dude, Juju Beaumer Moseman. Nobody's even saying anything about that pass. Right?
Yeah, because it didn't have championship implications.
Dude, either way, let's put it this way. Yeah, Deegan could have made a clean pass, could have gamed into the showdown, but that's more pressure on Haiden Deegan to get it done.
And by all means, Haiden is not a fortune teller. He did not know that was going to happen. It was just how the dominoes fell for Cole Davies on the backside of that corner. No, like, if he would have done that again, even if he went over the corner, I guarantee you wouldn't have got stuck and he could have got still on the podium.
Yeah.
It's just 1,000% of just how the dominoes fell and the chain of events that happened that caused him to go back that far.
Yes, but here's another whole point to the situation, right? Anton, what he was saying that he was like listening to something or telling himself that he's going to wrap up the championship today at his locker, right? Like at the race, at the rig. Like that's what he said. He's like, dude, I manifested. I am going to wrap up the championship today. Dude, a kid that is that strong-minded is going to do that. It's just like anybody else. Dude, you ask Jet Lawrence, how are you going to race Eli Tomac? I'm going to race him clean. What do you got to do to get past Justin Barcia? Two different guys, two different strategies, bro. Now, Cole Davies knows, and people are starting to get that Deegan will do anything it takes to win.
Well, I don't like adding on because you do that to me a lot.
Add on, baby.
To add on, like, as a racer, when you are racing somebody and you're at a track that it's hard to pass on and you pick a spot on the track and you know where space is, you kind of force your way through that area to make that pass happen regardless of where it is and regardless of the outcome. You are not thinking about how it's going to affect.
If it's gonna be nice enough.
Yes, exactly. You are not putting that into your decision making whatsoever. You are picking a spot on the track and you're like, I'm going to get the pass done here.
Yes.
Right now on this lap coming up, I'm going to be on his rear wheel over the fucking finish line and I'm going to wick it. Doesn't matter if he's a half a back length in front of me, a full bike length. I am making a pass in this corner.
Yeah, and that's Ty, that's an unbelievable point, and that reminds me of my racing career too. It's like when you're on those tracks that are hard to pass on, sometimes you have to force a pass, and it's not going to be the best pass.
No.
You have to cut across and do something janky and just get the pass done. And unfortunately, Cole Davies comes out of the corner, he slides out, goes a little wide. Door is just wide open.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about as wide open as you can get a pass.
Yeah, Cole Davies needs to stop thinking about carrying momentum through the corner and protect the inside line.
Which he's going to know. I mean, I'm sure he's going to watch this. He's going to relive that moment in his life for the rest of his life.
Well, he better not hang on to it a lot because he's got outdoors coming up, and
he doesn't seem like the kid that hangs on to things, but it's one of those things that'll stick with him. That'll be a lesson.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Tom Drenette said something to me as we were shooting the podium, and just the general confusion of, is this championship confirmed? Is it not? All of that, which is definitely another talking point that we need to get into after we touch on the pass itself. But Tom said to me, he goes, "Yo, did we just get Ryan Villapoto Ben Townley 2.0 for this summer?" And dog, anybody that gets the chance to talk to Tom, that kid's fucking old school knowledge of like primetime moto and like the little things he can recall is hilarious because like Tom loves that stuff. And he says that with like, he didn't have to go think on some like, I'm going to go watch YouTube for 2 hours and then have this manifest. Tom just said it off the cuff. And I was like, fuck, I think. And this is going to get awesome. This is going to get awesome because, you know, we don't know how Cole is, and he's got all of the same things that he's got to learn this summer. One-day nationals, going to some of these tracks for the first time, setting a motorcycle up, having the trust in the team, doing the program, not getting tired, feeling the heat, different weather, the travel, all that same stuff. But like just to know that that's something that he's going to go against. Haiden, 2-time and defending super or outdoor champion in his element, probably his last summer on a 250 if you listen and everything goes planned, whatever.
It's going to be.
But like, this is going to be all time. And then you have some other guys that are in there that could make this exciting. But this situation, some things that are, you know, just how the week to week things go, how they each get stronger. Them riding together. How much longer do they ride together? Because, you know, not that long ago, Haiden wasn't riding with everybody. He had his own Supercross track down the street until he needed to get some intensity back by working with the crew. When does that change for someone? Because it's gonna.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is going to,
like,
for sure.
When?
Yeah, but so like, I hate to be on this side of like realistic expectations for Cole.
Are you saying outdoor ain't going to be there?
No.
Yeah, that's what I
have
too.
low I mean, I don't have like, when I say low expectations, I expect Cole, to be like 3rd through 5.
Yes. That's exactly what I told somebody. I said a couple podiums,
3rd
but
and
top 5s.
Like, because and these are very valid points, okay? So on the broadcast, even his dad, I guess they did an interview with Cole earlier in the week. The broadcasters did a conversation with Cole, and he said, "Yeah, I'm very pushy with my bike setup, and I like for my bike setup to be in a certain window that I can operate in, and then I feel comfortable." Well, in outdoor, that window better be pretty big because you're going to so many different locations. You're going moto to moto, and if your bike, I can guarantee you, in outdoors, your bike is not going to feel right each moto, 1 or 2, and the track.
You don't have the experience to make it like that.
You know what I'm saying? So you don't, bike setups can be a huge issue of getting it set up track to track and moto by moto for him. And
that's the big thing. Is like the changes from Moto 1 to 2. Dude, we're all doing clicker changes from Moto 1 to Moto 2. That's a guesstimate with experience to get to the right setting.
Yes. And then 2, of just learning the tracks. Outdoors a lot bigger track than Supercross.
Yes.
And there's a lot more lines. And yes, I guarantee you he's going to be fit and he's going to have the intensity, he's going to have the speed, but just learning the tracks and learning how each track develops and where to go when on the first couple laps and the last laps. Track experience helps out a lot year to year. And then 3, Haiden Deegan's a goddamn animal on outdoor.
Animal. Like, dude, I'm saying if Davies gets an overall this outdoor season, we are hyped. If Davies gets an outdoor win this season, we're talking Supercross champion. I wouldn't
put it past like Cole Davies. I would put him, if I had to bet right now, I'd put him for like 3 overalls in the season. Would be stoked.
Phenomenal outdoor season for Davies.
Yes.
Like that is the best it gets. And that's what his expectations should be.
We also have to remember that, dude, Haiden Deegan was in a championship fight with freaking Hunter Lawrence at his prime 250 days. So, like, I mean, I think we all are trying to, like, Haiden Deegan's weakness is Supercross.
Yeah. Realistically.
It's Supercross.
Which is okay. But let's go ahead.
You said 3 to 5, then who's 2?
I know that I was literally thinking that while I was talking.
I'd say Kitchen's going to be up there.
Kitchen will be
good.
2.
Kitchen will be good. I think Joe Shimoda will be way better outdoor. I think Hymas will be good outdoor too.
Garrett Marchbanks.
If
he can get off the gate.
If he can get off the gate.
Tom Vial.
No, Tom Vial will be really good, but you know who else is really good outdoor, but won't be two, but will definitely be battling Davies is, Masterpool. Masterpool will be really good outdoor.
Yeah.
Yep, he'll be really good outdoor. What about RJ? Is RJ going to be racing outdoor?
No, he's getting his wrist fixed.
Okay. You know who else is going to be good outdoor is DeFrancisco.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal at the beginning of the season, just unfortunate crash.
Is Cochran going to be ready?
No, I don't think Cochran's ready.
Bummer.
But I mean, that is a good point that you make. You know, who is going to be second? It's still, it's going to be thinner for sure, obviously, at the start of outdoor.
Yeah.
But I just think lack of experience for Davies is going to be tough on these tracks. But, you know, next year, sky's the limit.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. But let's reel it back in because I think one of the big talking points of this weekend is telling everybody to suck it. Right?
Yes.
The championship decision, how we had to wait. And I guess, so Anton, check me if I'm wrong, but what happened was Deegan now has 3 wins. Yes, he has 3 wins. And if Davies won the showdown, he would have 3 wins. So it was weird because that's not the tiebreaker because it'd be 3 wins to 3 wins in Salt Lake. But I guess the tiebreaker was who was second place more often. And then, so that's why the 25, if Davies won and Deegan didn't even make the main event at the showdown to get a point, that Deegan had more second places than Davies. So no matter what, even if he doesn't show up and Davies wins, it still goes to Deegan because he had more second places.
Oh.
And so in the mass confusion of the literally give Haiden his like championship jersey, give him his helmet. He's on the podium. The trophy's right there. Oh my God, throw us the helmet and the jersey back because you might not be getting the championship while the TV cameras are going on. I'm just like, yo, what the fuck is happening?
It was
what
wild.
The fuck is going on? Dog, hilarious. Because like just, and the confusion of it all just adds to the suspense of the crowd because like,
well, the big thing, right, was they played
I want to know, like,
hold on.
How loud were the boos?
Pretty fucking loud. Like, not gonna lie, pretty fucking loud.
But there was a lot of cheers too.
But the cheers came. This is, let me finish like what I was gonna say because it ties back to something you said a minute ago, Adam.
Yep.
Haiden does his interview with Don. And he talks about how he's in the 450 truck. He has a locker. It's like him and Jay Coop have full-time bunks. And then when Christian comes in, Christian's out of the bunk, and then he's in another room.
Yep.
But he was watching the David Goggins thing, which, you know, Haiden talks about a lot. And just like his manifesting, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get this done.
Yeah, today. He said, I'm going to get this done today.
Today. And to his Instagram caption and all of that, like, that kid is not bullshitting any of us when he says he has thought about winning a Supercross championship for the better part of his life. Like,
yeah,
that is no bullshit. You have to think that he did not expect to have some boos happen at the same time. Probably a little bit just knowing how everything has happened, but I don't think to that level. And then to have just the general pandemonium of like, did I win the championship? Did I not? Did I get it? Did I not? That had to be such a weird thing. And then for Yo Dog, at least an hour, I know that he had to sit outside the AMA truck waiting to talk to the AMA after everything was over because of what he said on the podium. And then a little bit about the past too, apparently. But like, didn't get to go burn down the truck, didn't get to go blow, you know, FMF fiberglass in Duff's face with a Coors Light. Like, none of that fun shit that you think of when you think Haiden Deegan Supercross Championship, first one ever, got to happen. And like, that's kind of fucking wild. If you really, like, you've been living for this moment your entire life, and then it doesn't come to be the way you think it's going to be. That's like, I just feel for the kid because when you think that something's going to go a certain way and then it doesn't, and he's taking it well, and like, yo, the fucking check's going to cash. Like, you're buying the Lambo, dog. It's all good. Like, it's all fucking good.
Yeah.
We were talking last night too. the money they're going to make off championship merch is probably going to be more than what his championship bonus was. Like, get real with it. Like,
it'll be
good.
close, but I mean, he's going to make some money for sure.
He's going to make some fucking scratch. Like,
I mean, let's put it this way. If they make a suck it hat, I'm buying one.
He needs to make a suck it hat with like some of that WWE, whatever I don't remember, whoever that was, the aggression, whatever that shit was, he needs to do it in that font. Boom, there you go. That's a $500,000 bonus.
I mean, okay.
DMX, if the whatever that was,
yes.
generation.
Yes. So let's go back to the podium speech, because I don't know. I feel like a lot of people were like, "Oh, Hayden's such a douche. He said suck it, blah 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 blah." But dude, my take on the podium speech was like, JT asked him a question, and then he was talking about the pass. And when he was talking about the pass, people started to boo him. And then as soon as he got booed, you seen a light switch of the teenager come on and like the Deegan show, and kind of just go, if you guys don't like it, then you guys can suck it. You know what I mean? And it was like one of those things where I bet if he had a second try at it, he might not have said that. But I think it was such a big moment for him. And he's like, dude, are you kidding me? You guys are booing me for that? And I just won the championship? Yeah. I think it just triggered him. And he just said whatever came to his mind in that moment. And that was like what he says with the boys. And he said, dude, suck it.
Hey, I loved it.
Dude,
I loved it.
Are you not entertained?
I loved
Are you not entertained?
I absolutely
to the same
loved
shit.
it. When I was watching at my house, I was like, oh! Let's go Deegan!
Okay, not to jump to the 450 class, but like we've been hyping this up over the last few weeks to watch the Chase Cooper thing back and forth, the gunfighting, rock the baby, little barbs here and there, all that shit that makes the drama of it exciting.
Oh, and we got Deegan to say too small after the finish, too.
Yes, I saw that in the press conference.
Okay, go. Go, Anton.
Is this not what we want? Like, is that shit, is the trash talking, the antics? That's what we want, man. I've been dying for this for forever. I like, the only thing that's missing is a fucking knack over the finish line. 96 all over again, dude.
Dude,
it really is.
And Anton, you called the grenade throw
I know. I was so fucking... Hey, I wanted to stand up in the press conference and be like, get that man a Red Bull Shiesty right now. I was like, tie that fucking towel around his head like a robber mask. I was ready for it, dog. I was dying.
I can't even believe that you called that on Track Talkers. That is the funniest shit, dude. I love it. I love the antics.
I love it, dog. I fucking love it. I love it. And that's what we need. And they take it like champs. Because like they take it like champs, and I want more dudes to get back into it. Like talk back. You all want to do it.
Well, let's talk about the AMA for a second. Because like, is that even the AMA's problem, or is that more like NBC's problem?
It's an NBC problem, but then it becomes an AMA problem
because they're
like
the
NBC
officials, or like how does the chain reaction happen?
I mean,
like look, it's not the best look. But also within the time of the race finishing,
Michael,
me getting through.
Hold on.
Listen.
Just let him finish.
You said it's not a good look, but what is Supercross? What is Supercross, Michael?
Ty, you have to let me finish what I'm saying.
Okay, I'll let you finish.
Between the time that he said that, all of the bullshit of like, he's going to probably have to pay a fine. It's detrimental to the look of the sport. It's because he said it on TV, all of this stuff. NBC had that clip on their own YouTube, just pumping views by the time I got back to my hotel that night. So like, it is back to that whole same thing of like, well, he said it, but we're going to use it and you're going to fucking fine us for it. And how are you going to do it? And Brian even called people out by the podium last night. Like, why are you going to fine him when you're going to make money off this? He said that to someone from Feld last night firsthand.
Well, bro,
so he's probably
because Deegan's a businessman, and he knows the brass tactics of everything. What is Supercross? Supercross is the show. At the end of the day,
oh yeah,
it's a show.
It's just
And how do you sell a show? Drama.
Bah.
Being entertaining.
Let's put it this way, bro. Okay, I don't even know if I can say this on YouTube. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to say the whole thing. But Anthony Davis just got fined $50,000 from the NBA for saying to a Lakers fan, "My is bigger than yours."
Oh, yeah, I know.
50 G's,
I
bro.
know, that was awesome.
Is nothing compared to saying the fans can suck it for booing me on the podium for winning a championship and making a pass that I was supposed to make as an athlete when everybody who's looking at me and my team owner would expect me to do in any situation.
Well, wait, hold on, back up. I don't think that was Anthony Davis. That was the new kid, Anton.
No,
Or,
no. Anthony Edwards, not Davis. I'm so sorry. Anthony Edwards.
Yes,
I got it. I got excited.
I know what situation you're talking about. Anthony Edwards.
Yes,
I was like,
Anthony Edwards
Davis
from the Timberwolves.
definitely did not say.
Yeah. It was not Davis. Davis is
yes.
Yeah. He's on the Mavs now. Unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
He got the short end of that stick. Whatever. We're getting off on a rant. But either way, not even close to as bad.
No, not even close. I mean, he just said "suck it" because the fans were booing him, and I loved it.
No, it was something else. It was like some fans.
Well, I know Anthony Edwards.
Either way, we're getting off on
situation.
a rant. But let's get back to the Cooper Webb Chase thing. I got a lot to talk about here. Okay, Chase clearly pissed about the cross jump thing. What do you guys think? I didn't even think it was a cross jump. I just think he was lit up because he had a lot of adrenaline going at the start. And like, dude, Coop just looked like he jumped to the inside to get to the inside of Malcolm.
Bro, if you get pissed off about that, get pissed. Be pissed. That fucker is your competitor. Take his ass out. Cross jump his ass.
Back.
Yeah.
Do something.
Do something. Hey, bro, I like chips. Stack them chips on the shoulder, bro.
Stack them up.
Stack them up.
Oh, this is a good
Don't
show.
be
We're
a
hyped
roll.
up.
Yeah. Don't be rolling over like some roly-poly like some old ass turtle. All right? If you want to be playing with the sharks, bro, you got to be a shark.
Oh, gosh, I love it.
And two, Cooper Webb thinking that he's hot shit coming out in red gear with the red plate, cross jumping.
and straight tried to like juke him. That's the start thing is equivalent to like getting juked out, bro.
Yes.
But he didn't
starting
fall
on the
for it.
heat race.
Yes.
Doing that little juke thing. And then
imagine if he would have got him.
If you guys watch the replay on the main event start before, okay, so Cooper Webb rounds the first corner and Chase is right on the inside. I mean, you know Cooper Webb knows where Chase is at. You can see Cooper Webb's rear wheel completely lock up before he does that little jump in the double where it's kind of weird that his rear wheel locked up. You can see it go. I wouldn't put past Cooper Webb to
quick brake check
right before that double just to even fuck with Cooper Webb even more.
You mean fuck with Chase?
Oh, no,
Chase Sexton. Even
he
more.
admitted as much last week on Mathis's show because even Phil called him out like, hey, when you guys got onto that on-off, like, saw a little brake check, and he laughed about it. He knows, like, that's part of the whole thing.
Imagine the implications.
Dude, there's like shit that
Chase.
Cooper Webb does that people don't even realize.
Yeah, like imagine though Chase in that heat did fall for it and had to come back and got a bad gate pick in the main. That could have changed the whole trajectory. Then that little brake check, imagine if he would have fell for the brake check and not gotten over that table and a couple guys
that first
landed
little
on.
double. It's the first corner in that first little double. You can see Cooper Webb's rear wheel completely lock up and then go for that double.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if he kind of has to stop and then the guy behind him hits him and he goes down.
Yeah.
Championship done.
Done. Cooper Webb wins the championship.
Just by a little quick. Okay. One of the big things I want to talk about. Okay.
I have a couple big things I want to talk about, but you go ahead.
Okay, so let's talk about the first thing. Cooper Webb's bike setup going into Salt Lake, they are way off for him. I think that was everything he had to hold off Justin Cooper, and Malcolm Stewart. Now,
dude,
Justin Cooper was going to do anything to stay behind him and keep those two separated.
Yeah, it looked like it.
He admitted to it. he was going to do anything to keep him behind him. Justin Cooper keeping Malcolm behind him to protect Cooper Webb. But that was everything he had. And I think after Chase seeing what happened to Davies and how quick all that happened, it really feels like Chase kind of has some light to where it's like, dude, maybe he could get this done, especially with Cooper really, really pushing.
Bro, we need AP and Malcolm Stewart to ride just the way they did this weekend, but with better starts.
Dude, because those guys can do it. They can do it. And then Cooper just has a little, he was sick though. So I don't care. Situation.
Still.
He was not on this weekend. Cooper Webb was definitely a tick off, and it's going to be almost identical in Salt Lake. Dirt, altitude, the dirt's
going to be even worse.
Dirt's worse.
Yeah.
So that means his bike setup's worse because it's more hard packed.
Yeah, but hopefully they're going to soften their setup up. I mean, just give him Justin Cooper setup, bro. He was riding that bike fine.
Hey, facts. Anton, what's your take on that situation?
Well, on to the Salt Lake City thing compared to Denver. It's so interesting because, I mean, granted, we did 6-7 races, whatever it was that year, but Cooper's done really, really well at Salt Lake City in the past. Like that one race with him and Eli in the mud that day, I'll never forget that race. That's all time. So like he can get it done up there. And I think it's another one of those situations.
But that was
where,
when he was on a KTM.
Yeah, that's true. And this whole bike thing, like, I know he's put a lot of trust in Gilly, and like Gilly's a wizard when it comes to getting the YZ450 dial because like Jacob's bike was looking good.
Yep.
I was standing right there when Cooper came off, and he had ridden the bike hard, and I asked him about it in the press conference because it was steaming, pretty heavy, and you don't usually see that unless it's Eli after a Supercross race.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, at altitude, there's stuff that we have to do. And I was, clutching a little bit harder than I need to. So, I mean, that's just, another thing to kind of keep in mind for next week.
Yeah,
like, dude, again, as you layer every single scenario, every single element, next week's unfucking real.
Yeah, next week is unreal. The favor is in Cooper Webb's hands, but he's also put himself in that situation. That's what Cooper Webb does. He's put himself in a better situation than Chase Sexton has, and that's just the bottom line.
Cooper Webb still is in a tough situation. He's got to get
he's in a tough situation. He's just in a situation that's a little bit better than Chase.
Yes.
And he has the toughness to like accept it and thrive in it and not back down from it. I'm not saying that Chase doesn't, but Coop's been here before. Granted, like he said, he's had much bigger points leads when he's clinched the championship, but this isn't like he's going to be dreading this week. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
He'll be going through this week, doing the motos. You just, do your last week of Supercross, do this, do that, and then finish it out when you go to Salt Lake on Thursday.
Well, speaking of toughness, next subject I want to bring up. In the press conference, somebody asked kind of about the title fight coming down to the wire in the championship. What are you guys willing to do? I have heard so many times from Chase Sexton, I'm not going to do anything stupid. We're just going to ride and do the best we can. And I don't know if he exactly said these words, but like, I'm just going to try to be the best rider and just prove that I'm, fastest or whatever. But I'm not, he just keeps saying, I'm not going to do anything dumb or blah, blah, blah. Dude, quit saying that shit. Do you think Cooper Webb's saying that if he's at, getting that question and he's in your position? No, dude, no. You know what Cooper Webb's saying? He's going like this. Honestly, I don't know. Next weekend, there's $1 million, maybe more on the line. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll tell you this. I will do anything to win, and I'll try to get it done any way I can.
Yeah.
And leave it open for interpretation. So Cooper Webb or Chase Sexton, the guy sitting next to you, whoever it is, thinks you will T-bone him. Because if you can at least get that in his mind that you're willing to do anything to win like Deegan, he's going to have to ride a little tighter.
Yes.
All Chase is saying is, I'm not going to do anything dumb. I'm not going to do anything dumb. I'm not worried about that guy. I know if he's going to race me, he's going to race me clean even if the door's open. You know?
I mean,
like in the Cole Davies-Deegan situation, if that was Chase, Davies probably wouldn't have been over the berm.
Hey, so, okay.
Right?
You mentioned it, but we kind of blew by it. And it's such an important topic because how both of them reacted to the situation in the moment and then on the podium and then in the press conference is the cross jump. Because Chase was like pissed. Said I saw red when he was on the podium. That was a pretty ballsy move. I mean, that's the front fork lug right to the center of the, like, you know, center of Cooper's bike. You know, I mean, that's a block pass for a championship right there. But Coop then heard it. I was watching him after Chase said that, and then he kind of like registered it. And then he was asked about it when he got on the podium. He's like, no, I didn't mean to cross jump. You know, I don't like doing that. And then they had to both explain it further in the press conference. And like Chase said, like, yeah, dude, I got pissed. And then Coop said his side very clearly, like, yeah, Malp came over on me. I don't want to do that. I you know how pissed I get about it. And how they both like broached that subject, understood it, and then went on to the next thing rather than it be this like simmering tension for the next week.
Bro,
you know what I mean?
This is like a 21st century thing. Biz, like the cross jumping shit pisses me the fuck off. Okay. I say this
like
probably
like
because
that it's even a thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bro, like I've definitely gotten said I cross jump because like when I'm coming out of an inside corner and I'm hitting the fucking jump on the left and it's a corner at, you know, a jump out of the corner, I'm hitting the jump on the left and I'm landing on the right. If you hit the outside and you don't know where my fucking line is at, you're an idiot. You're an idiot.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
Like, bro, that when you're the rider
not paying
behind,
attention enough.
yeah, when you're the rider behind the lead guy or your next position, you need to know what that guy is doing. Period.
The way it works and the way we were taught is if you're in front, you can do anything you fucking want.
You control the race.
Yes, the guy behind you should know that if he hits you, the guy behind you is going down.
Yeah, if the guy behind you hits you in the air, it's the guy behind you fault.
Yes. And now there is a mutual agreement though between riders. If we're side by side, then you're not going to come. You're not. But
Yes.
if I have a bike length or at least all
If
my
I can't
wheels,
see you,
you're out. I don't care about you.
Yeah, if I can't see you,
I'm
I do
taking
not
whatever
care.
line that I want to take.
Yeah, if I can feel you, but I can't see you, I'm probably jumping to your side so you don't pass me.
Yeah, I'm going to jump to the line that I want, that I think you want.
And let's just say for this instance, I'm in second place in the start and the leader's jumping to the left. Guess what? I'm jumping to the left.
I don't know, dude. Yeah.
You know, the third or fourth guy, sorry, bro, you're fucked.
Yeah, you're out, dude.
I do not care about you.
Yeah.
I care about what the leader's doing and what I'm
get
doing.
in front of Malcolm Stewart, dude. I don't know what you're doing back there. I just kind of brake checked you. You could be down.
You know what I'm saying? There is no way a racing competitor or just a competitor in general is worried about the guy in the lead and the guy behind him. No way.
Amen.
You are focused on what you can see and the guy in front of you, period. And that's all you should be worried about.
Thank you.
You shouldn't be worried about hurting people's feelings.
Come on. Like Deegan, bro. Just a 1/10 of what Deegan's got. We don't need 10 Deegans on the track, but like if you got 1/10 of what Deegan's got, we're dialed.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
Right, Anton?
Yeah, you need that fight in you. You got to have it a little bit to get to this level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, but with that being said, stay pissed, Chase.
Yes. Find something to be pissed about.
Yes.
Don't roll over. Don't say you're going to ride safe. The first thing I would say next week in the freaking press day is like, honestly, I thought about it. I'll do anything it takes to win this championship, even if it means laying Cooper Webb out over the berm. Bro,
Dude,
you
Coop's
are
not gonna be upset
realistically...
about that.
No, he's not, because Coop would do the same thing.
So you heard what he said about his own teammate when, like, Justin really wasn't answering of, like, would you take out Cooper? Would you pass him if it was for the win, this, and this? And Coop's like, look, I'm just going to answer for you. You better.
Yeah.
know?
He said, so a guy asked him, if it was for the win, would you have battled your teammate Cooper Webb harder for that pass? And Cooper Webb pipes up and he's like, I would hope so. Like, that's Webb's mentality. Chase needs a little bit of that mentality. Like, dude, what would you guys do? And I'm taking a guess here, but what would you guys do for $1 to $1.5 million?
Bro, a lot.
$1 to $1.5 million. And all you got to do is if the homie leaves the door open, you just got to bink, take his front wheel.
And you've already been eating his roost and shit for 5 or 6 laps.
And he's trying to make you flinch. He's saying that you're my baby and I'm putting you to bed. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
And then you're all over him and you know you're faster than him.
He's brake checked you. He's cross jumped you. What? $1 million. The gloves are off at this point.
Yes, we're brass knuckle fighting right now.
Yes, brass knuckle fighting.
Yes.
I feel like we've hammered this one home, boys.
I'm just saying I would risk a front wheel getting destroyed to destroy my competition.
Well, look at this is what I'm saying. Chase Sexton, what do you got to lose, bro?
I mean, yeah, you ain't getting worse than second.
No, if he loses and doesn't finish the main, he still gets second place.
Yeah, you need to think of ways to get Cooper Webb to lose 9 points. What the easier way to do that if he's on the ground?
Well, and I'm not saying blatantly take him out. Your job is to get out front and do the best you can. But if you're in second and you're in a race with Webb and you happen to bump him and take him real wide,
just leave it at that.
Is what it is.
You're not slowing up and trying to do it again. You got one shot. Bro, ride him all the way to the nets or all the way to the tough blocks and just see if he can squid out for a second.
Okay, either he's going to take the 1.5 million or you're going to take the 1.5 million.
And let me tell you, everybody, Cooper Webb can just lock it up and give him the position and there's no story to be written. But if he wants to be aggressive and he wants to race you, then you give him the opportunity to fall down.
Great point. Cooper Webb's plenty smart enough to lock it up.
Yes, and guarantee you, if he sees Chase coming on the inside, he's going to lock it up and be like, I'm going to get second, and I'm going to win this championship.
You know what? I'm going to go over to Chase's pit next week. I'm going to subconsciously do some shit. I'm going to make a shirt. I'm going to make a fucking shirt that says, what would Deegan do? And I'm going to walk into his pit and just be like, what up, dog? Like my shirt, homie.
And then have a big one on the plate.
Yeah, like back. A big, like $500,000 richer on the back. What would Deegan do? $500,000 richer.
Yeah.
Maybe a picture of a Lambo at the bottom.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Second on the hemline.
Come on, dude.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well.
Hey, real quick, because you guys made 2 points that are like very, very important to touch on as this week goes on. Yep. Just to think about on strategy and all that. We've been in this situation before where somebody needed to go into the last race and hope that they could control the situation by bunching it up when that happened a few years ago. And how does that work?
Yep.
And is it effective? Does it work at all? Does it happen? And like, but watch that old Eli championship race to find out how that thing goes against Dungey and like kind of see how it goes and see how many different people and how many different factors have to come together for it.
Yeah.
And then the other one would be James and Chad in 2009. That was the first Vegas Supercross that I ever went to. And just the fucking tension that week of like, granted, we're not to that level, you know, after the net grab that those two had in Jacksonville. Like Chase and Cooper haven't done anything like that.
Yeah.
But just like, hey, this is what's on the line. And this is what you would do for your moment against someone that you've been just battling tooth and nail all year. Those are the 2 races that everybody should watch this week to get a real primer for what could happen this Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're going to move on, but before we move on, guys, I just want to let everybody know we really appreciate you guys buying the Track Talkers merch. We got these Track Talkers hats available. There's only a few left, but for all you people that do buy Track Talkers hats, we're also going to throw in this super sick sticker kit that we got made by SKDA.
What?
Super cool. All the sponsors on there, a couple Track Talkers logos, the podcast logo. So that's super sick. So if you buy a hat, You also get a sticker kit. That'll be on letmerideshop.com. You can go on Instagram or go on Track Talker's Instagram, find the links for that. But I want to change it up a little bit. Instead of Big L, Big Dub for Acerbis, we're going to just flash forward a little bit. For Acerbis this week, who's the winner of round 1 of outdoor? We got Eli Tomac coming back. We got Jet Lawrence coming back. We got Chase Sexton and Cooper Webb, one of them coming off a championship, one of them obviously coming off a detrimental season where they almost won the championship. You got Hunter Lawrence coming back, who's been good, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm. I want to say
Jorge Prado.
I'm gonna step forward and say Jet, because I want to say, I need to check the stat on this, but I want to say he's only lost Paula like 1 time.
Yeah.
And from 250s all the way to 450s.
Okay.
If he's raced Paula, I think he's only lost once in overall.
Yeah, but you got to think with the knee injury, and I heard Darren talking about, he just needs to go out there and try to do the best he can. And, if he takes a 5th, he takes a 5th. So you got to think that's their plan, just to go out there, do the best you can. Obviously, Jet.
Bro, we also heard that on SMX last year too, and he won.
That's very true. Okay. So where do we put the rest of the guys to start off their season well? Like, where does Eli Tomac need to be at this first round in Paula for everybody to be comfortable and be like, okay.
I think the person that's coming into Paula the most prepared is probably Eli.
You think so?
Yes.
Because just that minor tib fib injury.
Yes.
What do you think, Anton? What's your take?
Yeah, I think so. Like, just hammering out outdoor motos lately because he's had the time. Didn't do those last Supercrosses, which, when he said he wanted to do those, that was going to be cool. But I was like, well, why? Like, you could easily start getting your work done on an outdoor title right now. And 2 of the main guys you're going against are completely consumed with the Supercross thing. So I really think Eli's going to be the one to watch coming into Paula. The Jet thing will be interesting because I know they're going to test in Colorado this week at Thunder Valley, like all of Honda is. So, I heard that. So pretty tight. Like, we'll figure out how that goes from there. But just knowing, like, hey, man, we had some issues on Supercross with this new bike. Let's not make the same, like, although the 25, like when they did the Nations, when they did SMX, like all that stuff was good on the new thing, but they thought the 24 was going to be great last year until Jet, figured out that the rear end did something a little different than the 23 did.
Yeah.
So good to see that they're going to, after having to take such a cautious approach due to the boys' schedule and then parts allowances, testing time, turnaround, all that stuff into Supercross, really interesting to see them be like, all right, well, we're going to go hit a national track for a practice day 2 months before we even got to go there. Like, I thought that was interesting for this weekend. Another thing on the Thunder Valley note, just to get way into the weeds, I talked to David Clayball, the owner of the track, so expect some pretty big changes when we go there in June, like some layout stuff. Even that little
they
lane
already
behind the
did
start
that.
straightaway is
They've
gone.
already done.
Yeah.
The track layouts were already done like a year ago because Schaefer built it.
Yeah, but I mean, this will be the first time that
Yeah. But like,
we've seen it.
yes. Yeah. But it's already grown in and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's super cool. So we'll have a new Thunder Valley.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where does Cooper Webb end up at Paula?
5th?
6th?
I know. Like, are we doubting Cooper Webb too much coming off a Supercross championship, or do you think Cooper just doesn't care about outdoor? Or you just think he cannot get it done?
Like, the importance of SMX is really his motivation for the outdoors, knowing he needs a better seed into those 3 playoff races.
What does, other than points, does a better seed get you anything? Does it get you start
just
position?
More points, but
does it get you anything?
Nope.
Not really, right?
Nope, but I mean, look at what it's been coming down to, where it was Hunter and Jet tied going into the last one last year. You know what I mean? Or in that close position, everything's going to matter. And when you have so many guys missing the entire Supercross season, why would you take it easy when you could, I mean, it does reset, but there is a benefit to grinding out a summer.
Yep.
And money, dog. If you like money, there's money to be made in the
But
summertime.
I mean,
More
that
than cutting
doesn't
grass.
that doesn't say much because like I put Chase Sexton like 3rd or 4th.
Yeah. So okay, let's just narrow this down.
Just from the the Supercross grind is hard to get back into going out to Paula and feeling motivated to go to 230s.
Okay, top 5 450 class. Ty, what's your top 5 for Paula?
Well, I kind of convinced myself that it's going to be probably Eli with the 1.
You just said Jet.
I know. But when I was thinking about it, I was like, well, Eli, the bike hasn't changed. He has been putting down motos.
So now you're
for a while.
switching to Eli.
Yes.
Okay, so give me your top 5.
Eli, Hunter. Eli, Jet, Hunter, Chase, Justin Cooper, and then Jorge Prado.
Okay. We got it on record. Anton, what's your top 5? Paula. We're overall, right? Yep.
Yes.
Jet, Eli, AP. No, Jet. Fuck. This is hard.
This is hard, dude. This is why we're doing this. It's like, this is hard right now.
Jet, Chase, Eli, AP, Malcolm.
Okay. My top 5, Chase Sexton.
With 1.
Yes. Chase Sexton wins. Eli Tomac, 2nd. Eli Tomac, 2nd. Jet Lawrence, 3rd. Cooper Webb, 4th. And Justin Cooper, 5th. That's my top 5 for Paula. All right. Well, I guess we're going to see and have to wait and see how that one pans out.
Yeah.
We'll see how that one ages. Let's move on. California Coast Plumbing in the trenches. Who's in the trenches on or off the track? I got one.
Off the track?
On or off the track right now. It doesn't matter.
Well, you go ahead because
Okay.
I don't want to have the same one as you.
So this is a really tough situation, and I really want to get your take on this. Okay. And I talked about it with one person in particular. So Deegan has had a really, really awesome career so far.
Yeah.
Right. And I love Deegan a lot. But this weekend, seeing that separation of the fans of boos to cheers was very interesting to see him on a lights bike start to become that enemy. Right. And my only worry is that we've watched guys' careers, and it is very hard nowadays to be able to stay on top your entire career every single year that you do it. You have lulls, you have ups and downs. And my particular situation for Deegan is that he does talk a lot of smack, and people, once he does kind of starts to not be good, if he has a down year, like starting on the 450, if he doesn't just light up the world, could that be something that hinders him when he is talking that much smack and then can't back that up?
So what's your question?
I mean, how much more can you keep doing this, right? And just staying on top? Does he get to a point where he has to go through a situation and completely turn it around and he's going to hit a wall? Or is Deegan just going to be the best for the rest of his career?
What do you even, bro?
I'm asking, how long can you put up with the talking shit? How long can you do that before it hurts you, I guess? Or do you just do that
until
forever?
You stop winning. Until you stop winning. That's the issue.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Deegan, that shit don't affect Deegan.
I mean, does it though?
I don't think it does.
You don't think that when you're looking at a kid like Haiden Deegan, you don't think that any of the teams care eventually? Like, say he has a bad year and he has to look
What's
for
a bad year? He
I
ain't
don't
going to
know.
be 10th for a bad year.
Dude, you don't know what happens. The 450 class is gnarly.
Bro, you're speaking a whole year from now.
Dude, he might have to be Supercross 450 this year.
No.
They might do it.
I mean, that would be pretty ridiculous. I mean, they could for sure, but I don't think Yamaha has the spot.
So I'm saying no matter what way you pan it out, he's 450 outdoor next year, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And I don't think this is going to happen within the year. I think this is, a couple years down the road because unfortunately in our sport, which really, really sucks, he's going to get injured. He's already gotten injured. He's had that wrist injury. Mm-hmm. But, you take 6-8 months off. But then again, we say that and Jet just comes out fucking blown out knee and he'll just come back and win, right?
Yes.
So this could be just completely irrelevant.
It is irrelevant because the kid just won a 250 West Coast championship and he's coming into the outdoor season with a lot of confidence that he won last year. He's going to be running a number 1 plate going into Paula and he's fitter than ever, hasn't missed anything, hasn't had any major injuries that we've seen. If he can put a good head on his shoulder in the start of this outdoor season,
he has already.
He's just got to manage his own expectations. And, I don't think he's a kid that wants to win by 30 seconds. He's a kid who wants to just beat him. So, I could see bold statement Tyler here. I could see this motherfucker going fucking 24-0 or whatever it is in the 250 class. If he really wants to.
Yep.
Dog, if he does that in the 250 class, 250 class to do it would be,
bro,
not
but
to discredit anything that anybody else has done, but that would be fucking next to impossible just because of the more variables, bike reliability, the fucking general insanity of all the other kids that you're lined up next. No, I know what you're saying, Ty, but that's possible. But
with Deegan,
shit.
At the helm, it is possible.
Would it be more impressive than the 24-0 that Ricky and James and Jet have done if he does it lights?
Yeah, because no one's ever done it.
There you go.
If you're the first, it's way more impressive than the other people that have done it 3 times or 3 other times. Those are just facts.
It is facts. It is facts. Ricky that one was a pretty big one. We'll all never forget.
That's what I'm saying is,
outdoor.
The first fucking astronaut on the moon or the third one? It's the first one, dog.
Amen, bro. Amen. Okay, who's your in the trenches? I got another one if you ain't got one.
Kenny. That was a tough. I was not expecting this when I was excited to go for Denver.
I will say this. Every single weekend at the rig, it was a decision. Can I race or are we going to call it?
Yeah.
Every week.
I know. That's tough. So what I'm hoping...
After practice, it was like, can I pull this off?
What I'm hoping for Ken is it's so crazy that I'm saying this, but even with his age, bro, shit heals a little bit slower than you were, that you healed up in your mid-20s.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that because he has 2 injuries. He's got his ankles to fix or his ankle to fix and his shoulder to fix. So hopefully he can get those fixed. And then what is the recovery time on those?
Yeah. Which he never really does outdoor. He's probably going to do his typical thing, right? Is don't do outdoor, stay in shape, do a Unadilla, one of the end rounds, get ready for SMX and go from there.
Yeah. But dude, those injuries aren't broken bones. Those aren't 6 to 8 weeks. If they're ligaments, they're 3 to 4 or 5 months.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? So
way worse.
They potentially could be way worse. We don't know. And hopefully he gives us a report in the next couple weeks after he gets a couple opinions and figures out his surgery schedule and stuff like that. But until we know, we don't know what the situation is and how long the heal time is.
Yeah.
So because I'm kind of in the trenches about that because Kenny's always a good wild card to have in the field,
And too, I really love when Kenny takes that break and comes out really spunky for those outdoors because he can just pull out a win.
Yeah.
You know, because he's so fresh.
Yes.
You can tell when Ken's fresh and rested, man, he's good.
Yeah, he's ready to go. So.
Anton, what's your take on the whole Kenny situation? Yo, Anton, you there?
He put us on mute.
Yo, you there? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, I had a crying baby. Didn't
Love
want
it.
the
Love it.
viewers to hear that. Real life. But what Ty just said about the 2 injuries thing, 2 separate parts of his body, and knowing Kenning how physical he is, that's going to be hard to try to stay in shape at least one way. You know, if you hurt your leg, at least you're still doing some upper body stuff. If you hurt your arm, hey man, I can still cycle. I can still get on the spin bike.
Yeah,
that's a hard one to keep. How do you keep that base going? You know, Ken will figure out a way, and that kid's got so much of a base level, like it's not going away.
Mm-mm.
But
you still got to earn it back at some capacity.
He still got to earn it back. And then, and exactly what Ty said too, what does the timeline for those injuries look like? Because Ken's got 1 more year on his World Supercross deal, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And that's going to be starting up in the 4th quarter this year. So you still got some time, but you want to be ready to go do that.
Yeah. So.
And you want to be primed up for that because I'm sure there's a sweet paycheck to win that championship.
Absolutely.
You know? All right, well, let's wrap this show up. The last segment, Xbrand, does the zebra keep his stripes? Let's talk about Jorge Prado, dude. We got to talk about him.
Why?
Because does that zebra keep his stripes? Because I'm really kind of moving into outdoor. Obviously, we nailed down the 450 Supercross title, and we know it's coming down to Salt Lake. But realistically, Jorge Prado has a lot of potential, like a lot of potential. We've seen what he did over in MXGP, but it was, for the viewers that don't know, which most of you do, it was on a full factory bike, which over there means that you can run whatever frame, whatever you want.
Yeah.
And that KTM group frame is a totally different deal. And correct me if I'm wrong, Anton, but he's never ridden that Kawasaki frame, or at least hasn't ridden a Kawasaki style frame, let alone a frame that is manufactured in the USA. That's a showroom floor frame. And he's coming off an injury that, you know, he says he's taking his time, and it's, you know, it didn't feel as good as he had hoped it would feel on the first ride back. And he realistically only has a few weeks before Paula.
Yeah.
How long is it going to take for him to be good in these outdoors? And because of this injury and the bike, does he even have a realistic shot at the outdoor championship?
I think the first 3 races being hard pack and West Coast stuff, him being California based, will definitely play to his favor, especially riding Paula. You know, I think that track is so unique, and we could go on for at least an hour about how many laps guys do there in the lead up to it, and they don't go anywhere else to ride. So I think that he'll have a little bit of familiarity with it in the next couple weeks to know, like, hey, here's where the chuckles are. Here's the fast way to get around it. It'll be like second nature. And then, you know, he's Spanish, like, he lived in Spain, lived in Italy. He rode a lot of hard pack. So he'll know just how to make things like that Colorado Hangtown work. I think the big challenge will come, not the challenge, but the test will come second part, High Point, Southwick Sand, Red Bud Heat, Spring Creek, knowing how that weather could be at any point in time and when you're in the slog of stuff. And then where he's at from there. And if it's not making progress, and if you're still trying to race your way into shape when a lot of other guys are knowing how to hit their peak and you're figuring out those tracks, that could be a situation.
See,
I think the bike thing by this point. Oh, you don't think that like that middle part of the season is where the real like check and balance is?
I do in a sense, but because of Jorge Prado's situation, and both of you correct me if I'm wrong, but this is kind of where I'm leaning, because of this injury and because of the bike, if Jorge Prado can't start out with hopes of being in the championship, like if he clicks off like a 10 at Paula and then clicks off like a 10 or 12 at Hangtown, and he doesn't see the light for the championship, the season could go downhill really, really quick. Now, if he can somehow muster up with his injury and the bike some top 5-ish in the beginning of the season, where as the season goes on, they can get the bike figured out and he can get more comfortable, I think he's going to really shine mid-season once he starts to feel better and he gets the bike more in tune. Because I'm really excited about how good Jorge Prado is and what he can do for our outdoor championship and how fast he will be. But I'm just afraid if he gets down and out at the beginning, kind of like the whole Supercross situation, he's putting himself in a hard position where he's like, you know, he got hurt his first year and he wasn't really a top guy. And is he going to put himself too far down and out where he can't get that confidence back to be in the fight and be the Jorge Prado that we've seen in the MXGP championship?
I mean, bro, it's going to be a tough task.
Tough.
I mean, I would love to know what his expectations are and like how is the team like managing those expectations.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the key right there, right? Like,
You know-
is his expectation to go out and get a top 10 and then they're going to be stoked? Because if that's what it is, maybe that could keep him in the championship. But if his expectation's top 5 and he gets a 10th or 12th and the team's pissed and he's pissed at Paula, not a good start.
Bro, exactly. So like, and two, you really can't even do stopwatches at Paula on practice day.
So different.
Bro, I can tell you right now, like, even if he is on par with, you know, the top guy that is practicing at Paula right now, that really well could be Chase Sexton or Jet Lawrence or Eli Tomac or Hunter Lawrence or whatever. If he's on par, dude, those guys, those top 5 guys that we're talking about that are going to be in the championship no matter what, are going to be 4 or 5 seconds faster on race day.
Without a doubt. And the other thing is you throw Marshall Welton out at Paula at the same day that Jorge Prado's out there, and Marshall's probably going to be just as fast as Jorge because on those regular days, all the not amateur guys, but privateer guys are ripping at Paula. So if he compares himself to a guy like Marshall on a practice day, not that he's not good, but if that breaks his confidence too, that's going to be tough as well.
Yeah, I mean, but we are talking about an MXGP
Champion.
world champion.
World champ.
So I would hope his, confidence is ironclad because it needs to be, and be able to manage these expectations in these first 3 rounds and just to see where he files in.
But this is why we're talking about it, and this is why does the zebra keep his stripes? Because the biggest thing for me is how fast does doubt creep in when you don't know for a fact if you have the bike underneath you that can get it done.
Well, he's going to know if he's comfortable, then he's going to start believing in the bike. But if he's uncomfortable, then it's not jiving, then he's got a lot of work to do. And then also, I want to question, like, staying on the same team, like, where's Jason Anderson at? Is he healed up, or like, what's going on with him? Are we getting blood work done, or what's going on?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, really weird that all this Chase, rumor started.
Yeah, but
right
this
when,
is a year from now.
Yeah.
Is when this is going to happen.
No, Jason Anderson, I've heard he's not on Cowie next year.
Yeah, I know, but he still has a whole season to race.
Yep.
He has outdoors to race. He has SMX to race.
If he supposedly can get better from the sickness that he has, whatever that, we would assume it's some kind of, obviously he's not hurt. So it's got to be like Lyme or Epstein-Barr or something of that nature.
And that shit's fucked up because you don't know how long that stuff lasts. I mean, that could be 3 or 4 months.
So
as
pretty
is
much
right there.
We're just saying we'll be lucky to see Jason Anderson at the end of the season. At the end of outdoor.
Mm-hmm.
If we're lucky.
Well,
and
we better see him at the end of outdoor because then he's got to qualify for SMX.
And so that pretty much, so what are you saying? How much does that affect Jorge Prado and his confidence or the bike setup or what?
Yeah, I think it just affects the whole team as well.
Do you think it's better or worse to have Jason Anderson with Jorge Prado?
Better.
Yeah, I'd agree.
just someone that you can practice with every day, day in, day out,
get that judge.
and just kind of like bounce ideas off of like what, you know, or just even going out together in the first practice of going Paula, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that was one of the big things for me. You know, when Max got on the team, I'm not going to say I was the fastest guy on the team before then, but, you know, I was in the ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like really hard to know, like, how good is our bike? Like, is it a winning bike, or is it a top 5 bike, or is it a top 10 bike?
Mm-hmm.
What is our bike? You know, and when Max got on the team, all of a sudden Max pulls off a podium and you're like, sweet, I can put that out of my mind. I know Max has got something similar to me. It can get on the podium, so I need to do better. It's on me. You know, and that's one of the most important things for Jorge Prado is he knows he's an MXGP champion, so he knows he's the fastest. So does he look at the bike, or does he look at himself when he's not winning the race?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but you're also not racing against Eli Tomac, Jet Lawrence, Hunter Lawrence, Chase Sexton.
On home turf.
You know, on these tracks that, you know, and a one-day program.
Yes. All right. Well.
But he likes the one-day program. And before we go too far, who is P1 at Paula when time qualifying's over, him or J Coop?
Eli Tomac.
One of those two will be
Chase Sexton's
Eli
P1.
Tomac, dog.
Chase Sexton's P1.
No, Eli Tomac's P1. After
really?
Qualifying, yeah. Bro.
Have
you seen him riding the outsides at Colorado, bro?
Yeah.
That's exactly what he's going to do at Paula. He's going to go 5th gear wide open around those dozer berms and be like 2 seconds faster than anybody else on the track.
No. I'm calling Chase Sexton, but to Anton's point, how sick would it be if Jorge Prado just came out P1 Paula in practice?
Not going to happen, dude.
Anton, what's your prediction then? You brought it up.
I would say Jorge, just because of like, he's got Supercross. He's still figuring out Supercross and was
Ty's face
near the top of the board a couple times. I know Ty's face is probably screw right now, but yeah, dude, like, but that is also the fun of the opening round of the Nationals. Is when you're just like
Anaheim.
what is going to happen? And then for those, go.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Where was Jorge in any of the MX Nations the last 2 years?
I don't remember.
I can remember this one. Fuck, dude,
no, he did do. I thought he did do good at one.
No, he does well.
Hey, the truth tellers.
He does well.
The truth tellers are going to be in the comments.
Oh, he does well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's only 3, American guys that race there with a couple Australian guys.
Facts.
Well, okay. His thing, though, when you take that into consideration, just as the bigger picture.
No, but there was 1 year at Redbud. Oh, no. Was that Prado? Who was it that was at Redbud was ripping? It was Prado, right?
Dog,
dude, back me up.
Okay. I don't know, dog.
It was.
I don't
know,
was. No. The truth tellers
please let us know.
I'm not a Prado hater. I just haven't seen it.
Sounds like it.
I'm just maybe putting too much faith in Jet and Eli and Chase.
I mean, those guys are really good, so wouldn't be the wrong thing to do.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.